Uber got into advertising, and like monkey see, monkey do, Lyft is also going to be getting into digital car top advertising by buying the startup Halo Cars. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, you have to really like this video. Please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification. We upload videos on a near daily basis, and you will want to be notified of when those videos go up. We talk about news, commentary, editorials, interviews, podcasts, and premieres. And it's always sporting a wonderful hat and a demonic ring that controls them all. I don't know why I decided to do that, folks. I'm sorry about that. I like wearing this ring. Anyway, so advertising is the next big thing for rideshare, and it makes a lot of sense. Uber said a long time ago that they wanted to get into advertising, and they were talking about digital advertising. However, there have been companies that have been popping up to basically make all your cars out there billboards. There's Rapify, and then there's Firefly, which is unfortunately not season 2 of the Joss Whedon show. It is just an advertising agent. And, well, there's also Cargo. Cargo, which was selling snacks and eye chargers and waters to people on their Uber rides, decided to get out of that business completely and decide to work on car advertising. Like, you put a sign on the top of your car and you drive around. And here's the thing about this. This is not exactly a new thing. I've been to when I went to Japan, like in 2008, I think it was. There was an election going on between John McCain and Barack Obama, so that's how long ago this was. But I went to Tokyo, and there were cars just driving around the city that had like a billboard on it. That's all it was. The whole point of that car was to just drive a billboard around town. And I was kind of like, well, that's interesting. I'm starting to see that on the streets now, but I'm kind of amazed it took that long to get here. Advertising is such a big thing for companies, like, especially with basically how habits are changing. It used to be so much easier to advertise to people. Like, people watch TV and they had commercials they couldn't skip. Then TiVo comes along, and guess what? They can skip the commercials. So you got to get a little smarter. Then you got to do more product placement in the shows. But the problem with product placement is, well, there's a limited amount of time. So when those shows go to syndication or sometimes to streaming services, guess what? The Pepsi can that they're drinking from gets covered over with like a generic soda. So movie theaters are putting more advertisements before the movies, and people are realizing, hey, you know what? I'm going to see a movie that doesn't start for 30 minutes later or 20 minutes later. I'm just going to show up 20 minutes late, and I'm going to skip those commercials. And, well, you have websites, and there's ads everywhere, and people are using ad blocker. By the way, if you want to skip commercials on YouTube and support the creators, get YouTube Red. It's really cheap, and guess what? It comes with YouTube and Google Music as well, so you can cancel your Apple Music or Spotify subscription. And then you have those electronic billboards. You know, there's just new ways. Companies have to find new ways to advertise, and one of the things that they're finally realizing, even though Japan figured this out a long time ago, is, hey, let's put an ad on a car. There's cars everywhere, and people will just put them on the car. Like, does Rapify pay me much for my ad on the car? Heck no! It's like $30 a week. But, you know, it's $30 a week. I'm not doing any work. I'm just driving where I'm normally driving, so why not? Well, Lyft decided they want to get in on that, and, you know, it makes sense. I talked about fairly recently how they bought, like, that car rental service, and that's going to be a disaster for them. But this could be a good thing for them, because they have decided to buy the advertising startup Halo Cars. And, well, let's look at this article. Lyft Inc. has bought US-based startup Halo Cars, which allows drivers to make money through digital advertisements displayed on the top of their vehicles. The deal, first reported by Axios, was confirmed by the ride-hailing company on Friday. Lyft did not comment on the financing of the deal, so we don't know how much they paid for it. Halo Cars was founded in 2018 and has operations in U.S. markets such as New York and Chicago, so this isn't here. Lyft and a larger Uber Technologies Inc., both based in San Francisco, are pursuing different roads in search of profitability, with Uber pouring money into side businesses which have so far lost money, and Lyft focusing solely on moving people around, which is also losing money, I want to add. With operations only in the United States and some Canadian cities, Lyft said earlier this month its active rider customer base in the fourth quarter grew to 22.9 million from 22.3 million the previous quarter. That compares with Uber's global 111 million active platforms the same period. So, but here's the thing, like, this 22.9 million, that's still like a good number. That's still a good number. And I mean, considering that, most Lyft drivers and Uber drivers work for peanuts, they're always looking for new ways to make extra money. Like even a year ago when we were doing like a podcast, I was talking about how, Uber would really be great. Like, hey, if you can do Uber and cargo and Rapify and heck, even add Firefly while you're at it, then you know what? You could be making the $3 to $4 a mile and it would be well worth it. The problem is these companies come along and you're an independent contractor. And they say you're an independent contractor to say you can't set your own rates, you can't do this, you can't do that. But once you find a way to make extra money off their platform, all of a sudden you're under their thumb. Like they say, it's like, okay, well, I'm an independent contractor, it's my business, and you know what? I want to put an ad on my business, on the front door, which is the car. So I'm going to use Rapify, and Uber and Lyft's like, no, you can't do that. And then they buy the company, and then they're like, oh, now you can use it, and by the way, we're going to pay you this much now instead. And that's what's been a little disgusting about this whole process. There are so many ways that Uber and Lyft drivers can make more money doing this. But they are always blocked by Uber and Lyft, like you can't do that. But hey, if we're independent, why can't we do that? Why can't we put an ad on our car? Why can't we pass out things? Like, why can't we go to, I'm not going to use that example because it's like a dirty word. Like, why can't, let's say that we go to McDonald's and say, hey, why don't you pay us $500? We'll hand out these coupons to our passengers. Why aren't we allowed to do that? I mean, it's our business, right? We should be allowed to run it whenever we want, but no, Uber and Lyft control that. And now, and this is where this gets especially infuriating for drivers, because Lyft buys this thing, and it's a great investment. This is a good investment for Lyft. It makes a lot of sense, but Lyft is going to say only Lyft drivers can use it. So what happens if you have this thing installed in your car? That means you are potentially only allowed to drive for Lyft. Well, that seems to fly in the face of the independent contractor thing, you being able to do what you want to do, doesn't it, with your own business? And when Uber has their Firefly or their cargo or whatever the heck they bought, is Firefly owned by anyone? I don't even know, right, to be honest. But I know that they're working with cargo, though. So let's say, like, okay, you do Lyft and Uber, and you want to make more money with ads. You got to pick one of them. Like, okay, if I'm going to do cargo, I can only do Uber. And if I'm going to do Lyft, I can only do Halo cars. Like, I'm sure you don't want to switch them out every single time, but this is where we're coming. I mean, I don't think AB5 really did enough to answer a lot of these questions. I don't think they did. I think a lot of individual suits still have to be filed to set precedent that says what these companies can and can't do. Now, here's what's going to be great, though. I kind of wonder, if Lyft says you don't have to be a Lyft driver, you can just put an ad on your car and drive, a lot of people are probably going to do this because, hey, it's just a little extra money. And as long as they don't have an issue with me doing Rapify at the same time, then, hey, I could be making $60 to $80 a week by not doing anything other than driving to the places that I would normally drive. There's so many ways that this could be good for the consumer, and yet these companies are in like a power struggle. They want to be the only one. They want to be the top dog. They want to be the Amazon of whatever. And so they probably won't let you. It'll probably be a term violation term. And I have a hard enough time, like when this Rapify contract comes to an end, getting the darn Rap removed. They delay that as long as possible, so I'm essentially advertising for free. That's another downside to Rapify, by the way. So anyway, this is a good investment on Lyft's part, and I don't know if it's going to be good for the drivers or not. I mean, because, like I said, I think it's a good idea, but if they like make that stipulation, well, if you're going to do this and drive Lyft, you have to only drive Lyft, then I don't know, that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a real problem. I mean, it's going to be, especially since Lyft has shown little to no interest in actually changing their system to accommodate AB5. They're holding off until the courts for sure say it's a done deal or it gets overturned or something. And if it doesn't, then Lyft will start making changes. But anyway, that's where we're going to leave this one. What do you folks think? Is this something you would want to get? Do you think this is a good thing for you? If you are driving both Uber and Lyft, And Lyft says, hey, you can make more money by putting this ad on top of your car, but you can only drive Lyft when you do it. And the same thing with Uber. If Uber says, hey, we've got this deal with cargo, you want to put like a billboard on your roof of your car, you can do it, you can make more money, but you can't drive for Lyft. Like, would you accept those terms? I would love to know. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.